Okay, so we're going to work some side body today. The focus of my classes all week is on the obliques. I'm actually going to go ahead and mute everybody now because that way when I go to the recording, I won't get you guys popping up in the picture because I don't like to make you guys be on my YouTube channel, even though it's a private link. But anyway, so we're working on the obliques all week. And this is like our side core. We have external obliques and internal obliques, and their major job is to help us side bend and twist. The internals can help us with forward folding. They also help with breathing. So the internal obliques help us with our exhale, which we're going to explore a little bit. So we're going to do a lot of somatic work tonight, no balls, but just some somatic side bending, twisting. We're going to throw in a little bit of other stuff into the mix, and then end with a guided meditation at the end. So go ahead and come onto your backs. We're going to have our feet flat, knees bent to begin. All right, so feet flat, knees bent, and you can relax your arms by your side for now. We'll take a few moments just to start to settle. Come into your breathing. We'll take about a minute or so just to let the breath start to become a little more even, smooth, and relaxed. And we're going to come into a breath tonight that I'm going to call the straw breath. So I'm going to describe that as you guys are settling in. So the straw breath is going to help us find our obliques on the exhale phase. And how it's working is we're going to breathe in through our nose, nice, smooth, even breath through the nose. And then we're going to purse our lips, almost like when we do Shatali breath, but we're not sticking the tongue out or anything. Just you're going to purse your lips like you're giving someone a big kiss. And you're going to blow the breath out very slowly as if you're blowing into a straw. And what that does is it kind of draws the breath out a little bit, slows it down, and it encourages this engagement of the obliques. And I'd like you, when we begin the straw breath, to make sure you're breathing that exhale out all the way, like follow it all the way to completion, and you'll start to feel those obliques engage. So when you're ready, I'm going to start this straw breathing. We're going to inhale through your nose and then purse your lips and breathe out. Exhale through your pursed lips really slowly and follow that exhale all the way out and see if you might feel a little engagement in your inner core. So this is kind of the inner layer. So the internal obliques are the ones working to help you exhale. And then go ahead and repeat that for a few cycles. Inhale in through your nose, exhale, straw breath. And just go ahead and keep going with that. And I'll just talk a little bit more about these muscles that we're working and focusing on tonight. Both the internal and external obliques tie into our rectus abdominis, which is like our six-pack, very surface muscles of our core. So the internal obliques are kind of attached to that, but then they go a layer deeper. They also tie into our quadratus lumborum in our back. So we'll feel that a little bit tonight. Our lower back is supported by the elasticity of our side body. A lot of us were kind of short, tight, weak on our side body. So of course, when our abdominal muscles are more supple, we're going to be able to breathe easier. And then another job of these obliques is to help contain the organ body. So it helps support things such as our liver, our spleen, and our intestines. All right, So we're going to use that straw breath in a couple of different patterns later on. So we'll keep a little mental reminder of that. And you can let go of the straw breathing and just come back to a normal breath. Now from here, we're going to take our hands on our lower abdomen and place your fingers like right above your pelvic bones. And if you're pressing in just gently right above your pelvic bones in the front, we're pressing into these fibers of the obliques. So the lower fibers of our obliques are attaching here. We'll just take another breath or two with that awareness. One more. All right. And then go ahead and take your arms out to a T and take your feet nice and wide, about max distance. And we'll just do a little gentle windshield wiper of the knees side to side. And as we wiper the knees, we're getting a mild twist. And we're also starting to get a gentle stretch into those obliques. And I hope you guys can hear me okay tonight. Normally I plug the mic in. I had it last week, but for whatever reason, my iPad really battery dropped very quickly overnight, and I have to keep it plugged in because it's almost dead. So I think there's something wrong with my battery now. It's always something with these electronics. Okay, come back to start and walk your feet back into hips distance. So we're going to be doing some somatic releasing work, but also some somatic strengthening work. We're going to place hands behind the back of the head and interlace your hands. Okay, now this is going to be a sliding movement, and we're going to slide our upper body to the right without lifting anything. And as you slide your upper body to the right, draw your right hip towards your right elbow and feel that contraction on the side waist, and then release back to the start. Okay, we'll go to the other side. We're going to move on and inhale. So inhale over to the side. And then exhale back to the center. And then repeat that in a side-to-side movement. Inhale over to one side, and your hip and your elbow try to meet. And then exhale back to the center. So repeat that one a few more rounds. And nothing is lifting. So your hip is not lifting, your shoulders aren't lifting. You're just doing a slide and a little, what I call the hip hike. So the hip hikes up towards your elbow without lifting anything. And you'll notice one side is the contracting side, strengthening the oblique, and then the other side is lengthening. The somatic work, we always do the releasing phase on the exhalation. So we're going to do that one more time on each side. And then return back to the center and relax your arms back down at your side. Okay, feet wide as the mat again. We did for windshield wiper. We're going to take our right arm up and overhead, like you're doing a full body stretch. And then we're going to take that right knee and drop it in towards center as you reach through your right arm. Let your head roll over toward the left shoulder, and then relax and bring the knee back up. Okay, so let's repeat that now. Knees, so stay on the right side. Drop your right knee in. Reach through your right arm. Look over your left shoulder. And then exhale to return. So let's go ahead, 3 more rounds on this side. Inhale, knee drops in, arm reaches for lengthening that side body. and then release back to the start. Okay, 2 more rounds. Last one. So make sure you're moving really nice and slowly here. We don't want to rush these movements. And then let the right arm come down and take a pause. Just feel that right side. And now let's go ahead and do that on the left arm overhead. Left knee drops in as you reach the arm. So you're going to touch the wall behind you. Head rolls away and then back to the start. Okay. Knee drops in, inhale, reach. And exhale, soften. 3 more times. If possible, that other knee stays vertical. I know sometimes mine just wants to drop out. If it does, it's not a big deal. But we're mostly focusing on the movement of the left leg here. 2 more. Notice differences from your first side to your second side. Okay, and then relax the left arm down, both feet flat, take a moment. Okay. So from here, straighten both legs. So I'm going to pull it out of the way. And take your arms overhead and grab opposite elbows. We're going to come into the banana shape. You guys know this one. So walk your right foot to the right, and then walk your left foot to the right. So we start to create a side bend. You might cross your ankles. And then take your upper body and slide it over to the right. So we create that side bend. Now, important here that both hips are still on the ground level and your shoulders are still on the ground. So we're not rolling over to one side. We're going to keep this position, but we're going to do some actions here. So take an inhale, and this one we're going to actually do on an exhale. So inhale. And then exhale, you're going to try and squeeze your hip towards your elbow towards your hip, and then we'll relax. So inhale, exhale, side bend, and try to draw your hip towards your elbows towards your hip, and then release. And you don't have to go all the way back to middle, you're just releasing the effort. Take 3 more rounds on this side. You're contracting that side core as you come into that engagement, and then soften. Last 2. Now we're going to hold it for a few more breaths. So once you finish that last contraction, let everything relax, stay in the side bend, and take a few breaths. And again, noticing one side is contracting, one side is lengthening. Now we're going to take 3 rounds of the straw wrap. So in through your nose. Purse your lips, slowly exhale like you're blowing into a straw. And then notice what you feel in your abdomen. So 2 more like that. In through your nose and blow it out through your mouth. Slowly draw that exhale all the way out. 1 more time. All right, slowly shift yourself back to the center. Uncross your legs, even yourself out, and just take a moment. And we'll do that on the other side. Arms overhead, hold opposite elbows. Walk your left foot toward the left edge of your mat. Right leg follows. Maybe you're crossing your ankles. And then upper body shifts over. You're moving your shoulders, your ribs, your arms, your head. So we're in that crescent shape. Okay, and then hold it there, and you're gonna do 3 rounds. Take an inhale, exhale, contract your side body. Elbow draws towards your hip, hip towards your elbow, and then relax a little. And then let's do that 2 more rounds. After that second round, you're just gonna hold the position, couple of breaths. Settle in for just a regular breath or 2, and then we're gonna do 3 rounds of your straw breath. Inhale through your nose, and a long exhale through your pursed lips, and again, observe the abdominal area, the muscles in the abdomen, and 2 more rounds. After you finish that second round there, go ahead and slowly release, and we'll come back to the center. Let your arms come down at your side. And just let yourself be neutral for a moment. Okay, so we're gonna move in through some more strengthening now. We're gonna place hands behind the back of the head and bend the knees, feet flat. Now, most of you have done these arch and curl movements with me before. We're going to do a few rounds just regular, and then we're going to start to really draw out those exhales and see if we can hold the up phase, the exhale phase, a little longer. So as you inhale, it's almost like cat-cow. We're going to arch the back away from the ground. So we intentionally create a little tightness in those back, maybe in the QL area. And then we're going to exhale, round up. Lift your head, chest, and shoulders. Press down into your lower back. And then repeat. Inhale, elbows come down. Arch your back. Exhale, curl up. Elbows draw in. Gonna scoot that tailbone up. And again. Inhale, come down and arch. Exhale, curl up. Now we're going to start to draw out those exhales. So inhale, come down. We don't have to do the straw breath, but I want you to just draw it out nice and long. Hold it up there as long as you can. And then when you're ready, come down, inhale, release. So 2 more rounds with a longer exhale phase, really strengthening for those abdominals. Press in your lower back. All the breath out before you come down. Last round. All right, go ahead and pause. You can keep those hands behind your back. Now we're going to go on the diagonal, which will hit more of the oblique fiber. So we'll inhale and arch. And now as we exhale, right elbow to left knee, lift your left foot and squeeze it in. And then inhale, come down and arch. Left elbow, right knee, draw across. Okay, let's repeat that. Inhale, come down. And we're eventually going to do that same thing, and we're really going to draw out the exhale. And we'll add another little challenge on here. So remember to arch as you come down. That's an important part of the somatic work. because we're trying to repattern where our body might be stuck in any position as far as our spine goes. Sometimes we're stuck in a more arched back or a rounded back. So it'll help the brain recognize the contrast. Now, this next time you come across, let's go ahead and hold it, squeeze it, all the breath out. Try to touch that elbow and knee together. It's hard to talk when you're doing that. And now we'll try the other side. So at your own pace, all the breath out. Keep going. We're going to finish this round, then we're going to add something on as an option. Okay, next time you come across, so I've got my right elbow coming toward my left knee. I'm going to take my right hand away from behind the back of my head to the outside of my leg, outside of the left leg. And I'm going to press the leg and the arm into each other as I try to lift up. And you'll draw out that exhale. Inhale, come down and arch. Exhale, elbow to knee. And now reach the arm to the outside of the leg and press. Draw that exhale out. So you might want to take a look if you're not sure. All right. And we're going to do that 2 more rounds. Inhale, arch. Exhale, come across. Reach the arm, press the arm and the leg. On your own, finishing up. Knee comes in toward the chest. Last round. Hopefully you're really feeling those abs. You'll be able to thank me tomorrow when you're having your picnic. Be like, oh, I'm feeling those obliques. All right, so make sure you even out and then come down and rest. Take a few breaths. So it's very subtle work, but really effective at engaging those abdominals. Breathe into your belly. And then we'll take the arms out to a T. We're going to bring the knees over the hips. And make sure that your back ribs are pressing down into the ground. We want to feel the core engaged here. And we don't want this to go into our lower back. So we're going to press the ribs down, and that'll keep those abdominal muscles active. We're going to start to draw circles with our knees. And we're going to start small. Make those circles small, very controlled. And then we're going to make them a little bigger. Try not to overarch your back here. There might be a little arch as the feet come forward. But we're trying not to use the back muscles so much. And then we're going to make those circles smaller again. And as they get smaller, you'll be able to more easily keep those ribs down. Really control it. If you're doing this correctly, you should still be feeling some action in the abdominal muscles. Okay, now we're going to reverse direction. Reverse, start out small. And go slowly here. If you start to go quickly, we get into momentum. And then we're not going to be strengthening those muscles the same way. We're going to probably not even be engaging them. And then make your circles bigger. Now as those Knees come forward, you'll have that little arch in the back, but try not to overdo it. This is always nice for the lower back too. So we're getting like a little massage across the sacrum. And now make it smaller again. Start to control it, make it tighter. I actually feel it more when I do the smaller circles. Okay, come down for a rest, feet flat. And in these breaks, just let your belly be soft, breathe into the belly, find that suppleness. We're gonna repeat that knee circling, but we're gonna change it up a little bit. So you might wanna take a peek. So I'm gonna bring those knees up again. I'm gonna do 3 circles to the right. And then I'm gonna bring the knees over toward my right elbow and I'm gonna hover there. Then I'm gonna bring them up. I'm gonna do 3 circles to the left and then knees drop over and hover. Okay, so really feel those obliques as we come now into a twist. So arms out to a T, knees over the hips. You might squeeze those inner thighs together. And we're gonna do 3 circles to the right. And they could be whatever size you like them to be. Now, after that 3rd circle, bring the knees over toward the right elbow. Keep your left arm heavy and just hover those knees. And then push in your arm, bring the legs back up. Good, circle 3 times to the left. And then legs together, drop your knees over and hover. How far you go is negotiable. Press your arms down. Good, and then to come up, press your bottom leg toward your top leg and come back up. Compress in your arms. And then we're gonna repeat 3 circles to the right. We're gonna do 3 cycles. And then drop it over and hover, press into your arms. Use your bottom leg to help the top leg up. 3 circles to the left. And then drop it over, hover. Maybe you might go a little lower this time if your lower back allows. Press back up. 1 more time on each side if you can. Circle. And hover. Good, come back up. Last round, circle. And hover, last one. Press into the arms, come back up to center and feet flat. Couple breaths into the belly. After this, we're gonna get up and do some other work. Go ahead, take a little windshield wiper again. Let go of that work we just did. And then roll all the way over onto one side. And we're gonna come on up into a seated posture. Bad thing about somatic work is it always messes your hair up. Okay, grab a block. We're gonna sit with our feet in front of us and you're gonna hold your block between your hands. And we're gonna squeeze the legs together. Now your job is gonna be to keep your torso, your trunk, and your spine stable. So I'm not gonna twist here. So the torso is gonna stay stable and your arms are out in front of you. Try to draw your spine in so we're not rounding the back here. You're on the tops of your sit bones. And then we're going to take the block and try to touch your right hip. And then come back to the center. And then touch your left hip. And back to the center. And you're going to just go really slow and mindful. Try not to look at your block. I want you to keep your gaze straight ahead, because if we look at the block, we're going to tend to twist. And you might notice like a very similar movement in the exercise world called the Russian twist, but we're not doing it quite the same. Like Russian twist, you go faster. I want you to just be really mindful about stabilizing your core as we do a few more rounds. Make sure you're breathing. Let's do one more round. Good, and then release. All right. Come into crossed legs. Feel free to sit up on a blanket or a pillow if you prefer. And then let's inhale, reach the arms up. Interlace your palms, press your palms up and get as much length through your spine and your side body as you can. And we're going to twist over to the right. Now take an inhale here, lengthen up tall, and as you exhale, turn through your rib cage. So now we get to turn that rib cage. And we're going to stay here and take 3 of those straw wraps. So inhale through your nose, exhale through pursed lips. All the way out. Notice what you feel in the core. And 2 more. Next inhale, unwind back to center. Switch your legs. Maybe widen out the sit bones a little bit. And then inhale, reach the arms overhead. Find that length through your spine, let the rib cage lift up. So we're lengthening through the obliques and then twist. Hold on to the knee. Inhale again, lengthen up. Exhale, turn your rib cage. And then 3 straw breaths. Really elongate that exhalation. And 1 more. After you finish your 3 breaths, on an inhale, release back to the center and take a pause. Okay, tabletop all fours. And let's just take a few rounds of cat-cows. And the focus on the cat-cows will be inhale. We feel that stretch through the abdominals, and then exhale, there's the contracting. So 5 rounds, spread out through your fingers, press through your palms, and after your 5 rounds, take it back to your child's pose. Take your time. Okay, go ahead and take another breath in your child's pose. And then we'll come back up into tabletop position. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. And now we go to the side, very similar to what we did on our backs. So we'll take an inhale and center. Exhale, try to bring your shoulder, right shoulder and right hip together and squeeze. Inhale through the center. Exhale, shoulder and hip, draw them towards each other and contract. And then go side to side. Inhale, center, exhale, contract. All this work, one side's contracting, one side's lengthening. We create both strength and suppleness in the side body, in the side core. Another interesting thing I read about this area of the body is when it's weak, we will lack stability in our trunk, and it can cause us, especially as we age, to feel less stable in things like walking. And I see this in some of my older clients. They just start to feel very unstable. Now, next time you come over to one side, we're going to hold it for 3 breaths. Each time you exhale, can you find a little more contraction? Maybe draw that exhale out. And then release back to the start. Inhale and center, exhale other side. When you're ready, take your time if you're not there, and then hold for 3 breaths. After you finish those 3 breaths, come back to neutral, and then once again, rest back into your child's pose. Try to find a nice, maybe lateral breath like we talked about a few weeks ago, breathing into those side ribs. One more. Then we'll come back up into tabletop position. So one more thing here. It's almost like when we do thread the needle, the start of it. We're going to inhale the right arm up. Now we're going to make a fist, and now slow motion, bring that arm across and try to touch the wall on the other side with your fist. And then inhale, take it back up. Make a fist and slowly, with resistance, take that fist across to the other side. So if you're doing this correctly, you're probably going to feel that through the core. And again, last one, take it across. Slower you go, the more you might feel it. And then release. And other side. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale very slowly, like the slow motion punch. That's it. 2 more. What are you feeling as you do this? What muscles are turning on? And after this next one, again, go ahead and release back into your child's pose. Okay, let's go ahead and stand up on our knees. We're going to come into gate pose, Parigasana. So we'll be standing on our knees, and let's extend the right leg out to the side. And then find neutral pelvis by lengthening through the tailbone, lifting the front of the abdomen. And then the leg that's supporting you, keep that hip firming in. We're not gonna let that hip pop out to the side. And then hands behind the back of the head. So a little bit of a different variation here. So we're keeping this hip firming, we're keeping the abs lifted, nice neutral pelvis, and we'll side bend toward that straight leg. And just be mindful of that straight leg knee. Let's not jam it. Keep a little micro bend. Inhale, come up. Exhale, side bend. And try to keep those elbows wide. We're not twisting through the torso. We're side bending. And again. Let's do 2 more rounds. One side lengthening, one side contracting. Last one. Now this time stay here. Release your bottom hand down to your leg. Try not to push on the leg. It's very gently reaching there, or setting there. And then the other arm might reach up and over your ear. Again, we're keeping the tailbone lengthening, this outer hip firming in. One more breath. And then rise back up. You might set your hands down for a moment, step it back in, and then let's go other side. So again, find that alignment of the neutral pelvis, the outer hip firming in, and then we'll interlace the hands behind the back of the head, nice and long through the spine. Inhale, exhale, side bend. And we'll repeat. Remember, no twisting here. Let those elbows stay wide. And we've got 2 more. This time, as you come into it, release your hand lightly down to the leg. Top arm might reach up and over your ear. It might stay here behind the head. Pull that tailbone down, firm the outer hip in. Hold that for 1 more breath. And then inhale, back up when you're ready. Hands come down, step that foot back in. And then again, let's come back to child's pose, rest down. Time's going fast. All right. I'm gonna come into a seated position again. And we're gonna come into what I call like the Z-sit, or sometimes it's called deer pose. So we have one leg in front, the other leg is behind. If you can't sit like this, you can still do cross leg. You might also sit up on a prop, that might help, or maybe support under either of the knees if you need it. Okay, so we're gonna take, this is another sort of somatic movement. It's called the lighthouse because we're just turning the body like a lighthouse turns. So from here, we're gonna twist to the right. So if this would be my right knee, as I'm mirroring you guys. And then we're gonna inhale and look over the right shoulder into that twist. And then exhale, look over your left shoulder. Now, as I do this, my hip is gonna come off the ground. So my back hip, and I twist. Let's see if I might feel that contraction. You might feel this through the left oblique. You might feel it through the right oblique. You might feel it in your hip as well. Just go in and out. We'll do 3 more. Now, as you do this, I'd like you to press, if it feels okay, press your leg, your back leg, your left leg into the ground. And that'll add a little something, something. I just get more engagement when I let that knee press in the ground. If that doesn't feel good for you, skip it. Okay, now we're gonna keep repeating that, but we're gonna take the head opposite of the twist, okay? So as you twist to your right, look to your left and press that back knee down into the ground and then unwind. Okay, so we'll move on the inhale. Inhale, twist, look over your left shoulder, press that left leg into the ground and release. 2 more like this. Inhale. Exhale. And 1 more. You might be waking up what I call some dormant muscles. So some of these muscles have forgotten how to do their good work for us. And then our body doesn't work as synergistically, right? We want all the muscles to work together to support the body. And when some of them go to sleep, other ones have to do more work. And then we get pain because certain muscles are compensating for the ones that are asleep. Now we're going to stay in the twist to the right. And we're going to bring our left hand kind of underneath your chin. Yeah, I know this one's kind of strange, but this is the way my teacher does it. And we're going to inhale, arch the back and look up. And then exhale, round the spine, look down towards your knee. Inhale, look up. You'll feel that contraction. Press that knee. Exhale, down. Okay, let's do a couple more. Looks like a cat-cow while we're in this twist. I'm really feeling it through my back, glute, hip, oblique. 1 more. Okay, now both hands are going to frame that front leg. Start to kind of tip your sit bones back as you hinge forward and fold over the leg. You might stretch your arms out over that leg and take a couple breaths. Now from here, slide your right hand back towards your knee or your shoulder and stretch your left arm a little more forward. And then slowly release, come all the way up, and then just come back to neutral. And let's just do a little windshield wiper before we go to the other side. Okay, so then coming into that Z-sit with the left knee forward, and we'll start with the basic twist, and then we'll turn the head opposite, then we'll do the cat-cow part, all right? So opposite hand to knee. Inhale, you're gonna turn and look over that back shoulder, and then exhale, look toward the front shoulder. And you'll start to press now into your right leg as you come around into that twist, and then release. Okay, 3 more. Always noticing what you're feeling. It's really important that you notice what muscles are engaging. And that helps the brain map for that muscle. It helps it wake up and then it'll work for you. Okay, now we're gonna start to turn the head opposite of the twist. So inhale, you're turning your torso, but you're gonna look over that opposite shoulder. And then release, twist, and look over your right shoulder. Press that back leg into the ground, 2 more. Good, and then we'll come back to the start. And we're gonna bring our hand underneath the chin. So the right hand, left hand supporting you. Inhale, look up, like an arch in your back, and then exhale, drop down. Press into that back leg. Two more rounds. After that second one, we'll just do a little release. So we're gonna start to fold over the knee. You get a little compression into the belly. The right arm is gonna reach forward. The left hand is gonna come back and push a bit and lengthen. So that right side is getting some length. All right, slowly start to bring yourself back up. Bring your feet in front of you, and let's just do a little windshield wiper again, let go of all that work. And now we'll move into a restorative side bend, more for releasing. So we're gonna grab your bolster or bed pillows. Probably need at least 2 if you have bed pillows. And we're gonna put the bolster across, horizontal on your mat. You're gonna need a little room up here with a block. And then I'm gonna put my block flat and I'm gonna put a pillow on top of it because I have a cork block. But if you have a soft block, you might not need some padding there. But if you need a little more height, you can. You can also turn your block up a level. And then I'm gonna put a blanket on top of my bolster because I like a little bit higher here for the side bend. But you might be okay without, depending on like how high your setup is and what your range of motion is, what feels good for you. So have some extra stuff nearby in case you want to add on here. And then we're going to bring the knees off to the one side, and my hip is about center of the bolster. So I'll give you guys a moment to get all that ready. So you're going to be laying over the bolster into a side bend. Okay, so like take your hand and kind of lift up your side body. Just kind of lift it up and then lay it over the setup there. So you feel like you're lengthening those bottom side ribs. And the arm is going to be between your bolster and your block. And then pull this in so that your head is supported on your prop. I'm going to have to turn this up a level. Okay. And then your knees could be stacked. You could even put a blanket between your knees if you wanted to. And then we're going to take the top arm, reach it up and over the ear. And then we get this nice lengthening through that area. We worked really hard tonight. Some of you might feel like you want to straighten the top leg. And that might give you even more. But if it's more comfortable, you can also stay here with the knees stacked. Now, if you're not feeling much, it feels like pretty blah, then you want to put this higher. This part that's under your rib cage, you could put a blanket or extra pillow if you're not feeling much of a stretch through this top side. Because it gives us just a little bit of a lift through the ribs so that they open up here. You might even walk that top leg a little bit behind you. That might add a little something. And then let's go ahead and just take a few moments here. So you might stay here for a minute or two. You let your head relax. And imagine that you could breathe into these top ribs, the top oblique area. You might close your eyes. Just focus on your breathing. Focus on what you're feeling. I'm going to do one more minute here. If for any reason your arm starts to fall asleep, you get pins and needles, just bring the arm back down. You're still getting that stretch here. Up, it's time. Okay, so let that top arm come down. If you straightened your leg, restack your legs. And then carefully press yourself up. And just go ahead, switch sides. So I'm gonna move my props so I stay facing forward, but you guys can just flip it over. And remember, you're gonna lengthen through those side ribs before you come down. Okay, so stacking the knees initially, and then lift that rib cage up and then drape it over the props. Let the arm come in between. Make sure your head feels supported. And then top arm's gonna reach up and over your ear. Maybe you wanna straighten that top leg and take it a little behind you. Send the breath into those top ribs, top area of the obliques as they touch into the top rim of the pelvis, up into the ribs, into our serratus, into the QL. Maybe you want to close your eyes for a bit, just go inward. Remember, if that arm falls asleep, you can always bring it down, or if you get too much pins and needles there. We've got one more minute. All right, go ahead, let that arm come down if you haven't. Restack the legs and carefully press yourself up. All right, so we finished most of the work here. We're gonna come into another restorative for our Shavasana tonight. And I have a guided meditation to help you relax your belly after all that work. So we'll take maybe a block and put your bolster on an incline. And maybe you want a pillow up the top for your head, a blanket, folded blanket. And then something for under your knees. We'll come into Supta Baddha Konasana. I'm just gonna go ahead and take a blanket and roll it from the long edge and wrap it around my ankles. You could also use 2 pillows under your knees, 2 rolled up blankets under your knees, or if you have enough blocks, you could do that. So I'm making a long coil that looks kind of like this. And then I'll sit with my back to the bolster and put the coil on top of the feet. And then lift the knees and pull the ends of the tail under your ankles, and then you have a really nice support here. When you come down, give a little scoot of your tailbone forward, and then lengthen your spine as you come back. If you have something for under your head, take it out from under your shoulders and just put it under your head. And then relax your arms wherever they are comfortable. If you have anything you want to add, like an eye pillow or some weight, sometimes I like to put a weighted blanket over the abdomen or something like that, you're welcome to. And then we give you guys a moment to settle before I start the guided meditation. So make your last adjustments. Fix any clothing, make sure that you're comfortable. Make sure that you're warm if you've gotten chilly. And then just come into a soft breath. And we'll start to let the abdominal area soften and relax and release. And start to observe the belly as it rises and falls with your breath. Make room for the breath in your belly. Breathing in, the belly rises. Breathing out, the belly falls. Allow the breath to breathe itself in a very soft belly. Each breath, softening, opening, releasing. Belly rising, falling. Breathing into the softness in the abdomen. Levels and levels of softness. There's a time to engage, to work the abdominals, but now's the time to just release them. A lot of us are, we're just kind of programmed to hold it in, suck it in, harden the belly, hide its roundness, its fullness. But now's the time to let it be soft. You hold so much armoring in the belly. But now just with compassion, let that belly be soft. We might notice that even sometimes a single thought that comes up when we're here might tense up the belly again into armoring, into separation. So let go with every exhale, making space. So much room in this soft belly, levels and levels of softness. When we let go in the belly, we also help release the area of the heart. So each exhalation, breathing out any armoring, any hardness, soften the belly and soften the heart. As we've discussed many times before, the diaphragm is like this connection between our belly and our heart. So every time the diaphragm is moving up and down, it's connecting to our belly and our heart. And if we're not breathing into that soft belly, we're starting to create armoring and tension as well in our heart. And we decrease our heart rate variability if we're not breathing into that soft belly. Old grief can congregate in our belly. So softening allows it to disperse, dissolving any pains, fears, doubts into this softness. Trust the process, let all that arises pass through into the spaciousness in the abdomen. Your eyes be soft and relaxed. Let's take another minute here to stay quiet as you continue to focus on your breath. Now take the next few moments just to notice the effect of your practice. We created strength and suppleness in the side body. You might take some deeper breaths, some small movements. Try not to disturb this sense of relaxation. So just keep a nice gentle movement. If you want, you could maybe straighten your legs for a bit. Maybe you want to stretch. So take your time, move as you wish. And eventually, you can go ahead and roll off your props over onto your side. Or if you want, you can just stay up on the bolster on your side. Just have a pause there before returning to seated position. And just go ahead and stay there for a moment, sitting up nice and tall when you're ready. and share one little poem before we finish. And this is from Susan Freiborg. She's one of my favorite poets these days. She started popping up on Facebook on my feed, and now I love her work. So this is called Just Being. Sometimes just being needs space to relax. It needs time to pause from the pressure of living up to the duties and expectations of a rigid framework, or rest from showing up in full armor every day to protect a tender internal truth. Or sometimes just being needs to cry and feel into coarse emotions for a while. Whatever it takes for all the layers of what has built up inside begin to unwrap the gift that you truly are, deep within, just being. Okay, let's go ahead and bring our hands together in front of the heart space. Take a nice inhale, and as you exhale, bow into your heart. Namaste. All right, thank you.